Welcome back to another episode of the MDCP podcast, joined by just one co-host today, just Sam, but hey, that's still a win. We'll take that. We do miss Ash, but it's always a good chance for us to sit and chat, Sam, because we don't sit and chat much in a week.
Absolutely. No, never.
Never speak.
No.
So today's podcast, I thought, we're talking about, what it takes to be $1 million coach or be a successful coach, professional coach, but something that is often overlooked and brushed to the side is a topic I think is very important, is burnout. It's a real thing. I've been there. You've no doubt been there. Mm. And particularly when coaches are struggling to make income, day to day, they might be working at multiple facilities, having different gigs and coaching and trying to bring it all together just to, get some 2-minute noodles on the table.
Yeah.
And afford to live or exist. Mm-hmm. Then they start to cook themselves, which means you can't operate at your best potential as a coach.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to cover today is let's put it out there. Burnout's real. Let's talk about what it looks like. And then, how do we, start to avoid that, as well as setting yourself up for success to have a career that you can have freedom of, as we talk about in Fit Affiliate, freedom of time, purpose, money, relationships.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I know what burnout looked like for me, and in me. And this is feeling so many feelings.
Yeah, I know we're going to trigger some people today.
Well, it just flashing back to, this, just what it was like in the early couple of years of my coaching. And I feel like, well, so I won't say that. What I'll say is, my experience was I got into coaching and I had some amazing coaches who I looked up to, and I was just happy to be doing the thing. And I felt like it was a gift, and like I got selected to, to stand at the front of a room and to help coach people. And, to a certain extent, it's a little bit of a bait and switch, because it's like, someone, and I've talked about this before, is like, you get the head nod from your head coach, and you're like, yeah, I think you're ready for the 5:30 a.m. class. And you're like, yeah. And then you're like, shit. Because you realize you're getting up at 0400 to be out the door at 0440. So you can be in the affiliate 0515. So you can, get everything turned on and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, someone got the short end of the stick there. And, jokes aside, it's not like a huge stretch to see how you could get burned out if you're closing the affiliate in the evening. We used to call it the close to open.
Yeah.
You close the affiliate, last class is 6:30. You finish at 7:30. It takes a half hour to clean up and put everything away. So it's 8 p.m. Like for me, I would drive 25 minutes home. So it's 8:25, and that's assuming I got out on time, because I love to chat with my members, which I never got out on time, as my wife likes to remind me. And it's 9 p.m. by the time I'm eating food, and maybe 11 p.m. when I'm going to bed, or 10 p.m. on a good night, and turn right back around up at 0400. And like, you want to do that once in a row before you are sick of it. And
well, I mean, it's the nature of the beast. Like when I owned the affiliate and I first opened, I was up at 3:45 because we had a 5 a.m. class, and I like to get there half an hour before. And then our last class finished at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And I was home by 9 p.m. and then straight to bed to then get up again at 3:45. And it's really funny. Like when I started the affiliate, it's like, cool, this is what you've got to do. You just make it work. And then I had some coaches take some of the classes. And then on the rare occasion where I had to do the back-to-back, I was like, how did I do this for 4 or 5 years? This is insane. This is not fun.
Well, and
it's hard.
It's really hard. And you use some interesting language. You said, this is what I have to do. Says who? Right. And now we get into weird things where it's like, well, this is just what you do. And I was listening to a podcast where Chuck was on, and he was talking about how at his affiliate, he didn't have a 5 a.m. class. And it's not because there wasn't a demand for a 5 a.m. class. but they actually had some health markers taken, and there was demonstrably less performance and quality of life for people who got up for that 5 a.m. class, and like that extra hour of sleep turns out it matters. And like, how can we, and stand at the front of a room and encourage people, you need to pay attention to your sleep habits, and as a part of your, holistic health and wellness, in betterment, while I'm encouraging you to get up early and come to my class. Like, so it
is that double-edged sword though, isn't it? It's like, people, I know boxers that have a 4:45, a 4:30 class. Like, I had requests for that, and I went, there's no way I'm asking a coach to do that, and I'm sure as hell I'm not doing it. But I think too, a lot of it came from, and as affiliate owners, we love to suffer. We love to, we and martyr ourselves, I guess, to a degree.
I didn't realize that was exclusive to affiliate owners.
Well, no, it's we do wear it as a badge of honor, though, I will say.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's also that culture of, I remember very early in my affiliate journey, I was following a coaching service, and their thing was #earn it. And it's all the, you've got to earn this and earn that, and it's hustle and grind. And so you're like, well, I need to be the hardest worker out here. Like, and that stuff, like, Gary V, love him, but, all that sort of stuff is permeated through. So people are like, well, if I'm sleeping in, then I'm not working hard enough. Like, I need to work harder. We all forget about the smarter bit, which is not very smart of us, but, and that permeates through. So if I'm a sole operator, I've just started, I don't have a lot of coaches yet, I'm doing all the things, I'm putting on the classes that people want, and you feel like you're doing all the things and you're working hard enough, you're like, well, I'm doing the hustle and grind, but I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's at the affiliate owner level. Like at the coach level,
it's worse.
Well, I won't say it's worse or it's better. I just, it's different. I mean, I know that when I got into this, it was, I want to change people's lives, and I'll say yes to almost anything in order to have it. Like, I also knew I wanted to be a professional coach. Like, I wasn't going to dangle I wasn't going to dangle a toe in this. Now I start worrying about language.
We're 13 episodes in.
Things you do when you have a toddler. When I got into this, I wasn't going to dangle my toe in and, do it haphazardly. And so I wanted to be the best. And I knew that I needed to get a lot of reps in to be able to do that. And in a short number of years, I accumulated like over 2,000 hours coaching. It was very, God, I think it was like 2.5 years or something like that. And I did a lot of things. There's a cost for everything. I did a lot of things that helped me accumulate those reps, but that maybe were not the healthiest choice for my sleep hygiene, or the healthiest choice for my work-life balance, or the healthiest choice for my relationship with my significant other. And
when you're pumping through like those reps, as you say, like, and you're not focusing sleep hygiene, work-life balance, does that put you in a good position to make better decisions and give the best of yourself to the people in front of you on that, that given time? I mean, you're talking about it in terms of reps. So let's go with that in, to help, our listeners who are CrossFitters understand. That'll be like, well, I want to get better at back squatting. So I'm just going to do 20 sets of 20 reps, 5 by 20 every other day. Like, or I'll follow, and then I'll layer on a small off cycle on top of that, because I've got to get the reps in the bank.
Right. Fucking Russian squat program. Let's go.
Day one, like, oh, welcome to just, and hello knees, is what's going to break down. You're not going to, you might squat perfectly for one, but then you start loading that up and doing it 20 times every day. Like,
I think, cost benefit analysis is a really good thing to do here. Right. So like I listened to a little, like a reel or something on the internet. Maybe last week. And this guy was like, I did front squats every day for 2 years, and I got really strong, and my back squat went up, right? Now, this is an Olympic
Mm.
weightlifter.
Yep.
And he was probably lifting Bulgarian style or something like that. And that, if his goal is to get really good at one specific thing, then cool. But short of that specific goal, the cost benefit analysis probably tells me his flexibility might have suffered. His cardiovascular respiratory endurance might have suffered. His ability to move safely and in a powerful manner in a transverse manner might have suffered. In the same way, if, talking about reps, if the quality or volume rather, if the volume of your reps is I close in the evening, I open in the morning, I close in the evening, open in the morning, close in the evening, open in the morning, then what you're going to get really good at is adjusting your life to make those things as pain-free as possible. It's not necessarily the best quality repetition. And I go back to Pat Barber, who early in my coaching career, I remember reading him say, yeah, about 3 classes back to back is what the best coaches in the world can manage. And I'm thinking, fuck me. I'm doing way more than that.
Yeah.
There are days I'm running
and thinking you're doing a great job. Like you're like,
right?
No, that's horseshit. Like I've just done 4 and I've coached my ass off in, all 4. And you're like, but when you look at it, like, what did you miss in each class, or what did you then, do differently or gloss over or change? They weren't 4 identical classes because you just can't sustain that. And, when you're going through the same progression, like 4 hours in a row, you kind of start to just
your eyeballs glaze over. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I especially like early mornings, man. So 5:30, 6:30, run this back to back. 8:30 boot camp, 9:30 CrossFit class, get a little bit of a break, noon CrossFit class. And somewhere in the middle, if I didn't have, like, I might get a break to eat some food or something like that. But I was also a big fan of like managing my time really well, right? So I got paid to cover the hour of open gym between the end of the 9:30 class and the beginning of the noon class. Well, I would also shove a personal training or a foundations or an on-ramp client in there as well. So it's maximizing my value for that time. And as simple as that sounds, it took me like 1.5 years to figure that shit out. But even still, thinking about the volume of work that I'm doing, I might get an hour off in a 7-hour day. And anyone who coaches, it's not like I'm just sitting here. It's not very like, it's emotional, it's physical, it's very like there's a lot of outbound energy. And there's a limit on how well you can coach those classes. And if, and here comes the part where I might piss people off. Like,
that's what we're here for.
Well, yeah, right. If you think there isn't a limit on the amount, rather on the quality that you could bring as a coach to a class, then I would argue that you're probably not bringing the quality to your classes that you think you are.
To start with. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a big self-awareness thing, because we make our egos tell ourselves we're doing all things wonderful and we're God's gift to everything, when in reality, we're dropping the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
But, because we might be in a situation as a solo affiliate owner that, well, I need to, make these classes work. I need to make the gym work. So I'm just going to do the things.
Yeah.
But, people used to know, like, and, it used to piss me off at the time when I heard this, but then, like, when I started adulting a bit better and reflecting, you're like, this is true, is that, people were like, oh yeah, you can tell when, oh, Lisa's done all the classes, or Lisa's grumpy, or Lisa's tired. And because when you do the whiteboard brief and you get the same stupid question every class, like, you laugh it off at 5 a.m, you make a joke of it at 6, 7, it's not quite as funny, but by 6:30, 7:30 p.m, it's like, don't even talk to me right now. Just go to the corner and shut
Yes.
up. Which is not, that's not a great experience. That's not what we want to do. It's like, but it happens and you don't even realize it happens. And then when
Well,
someone puts a mirror on it, you're like, no, I'm not an ass. So,
well,
yeah.
so let's do a hypothetical, and coaches, if
Mhm.
you're listening, you tell me if this sounds familiar. All right, everybody, can it? We're going to talk about the workout. The workout is Amanda, 9, 7, and 5. Snatches at 135.95 and ring muscle ups. Yes, the snatch is from the squat. So no, you can't power and then overhead squat. I'd really like you to actually sit and do a squat, receive the bar there, and then stand back up. Ring muscle ups. No, bar muscle ups are not an appropriate scale. If you can't do ring muscle ups, I'd love to see, maybe pull ups and burpees or burpee pull ups. No, you just can't do blah, 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 blah. If anything like that, where you're trying to like head questions off at the pass, and if you sound like an overworked lunch lady,
You are.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the problem with burnout, first of all, we are all, as humans, we are blissfully unaware of our character flaws most of the time because we're just kind of autopiloting.
Yeah.
And second, in this particular service industry where your volume and exposure and fatigue is cumulative, but 1 hour to the next, one class to the next, the best version of you is available only to maybe the first 1 or 2 iterations of that class. And everyone who comes behind is shortchanged simply because of the fact that they had a different schedule, right? We are doing a disservice to our clients if we don't. And hold on, wait. We're doing a disservice to our clients if we don't, 1, acknowledge that that's a thing, and then 2, take efforts and steps in order to be able to mitigate that. And I fully understand that, like, early on, that's hard. I get that.
It is. And I was just going to say, the irony of that first coaching group that I kind of followed was with the earn it. But then they also said, in your coaching agreement with your coaches, it's like, I will treat every class as if it's my first class of the day. Well, because, it's your members' first class of their day, regardless what time.
Absolutely.
Well, you've just told me to focus on earning it, and I should be working and doing the things. So I've just spent all day doing that. But now you want me to make this 7:30 p.m. feel like it's the first time I've coached the air squat today?
Yeah.
Or answered the same repetitive questions. Like it's kind of, I don't even think they realize, the dichotomy that they were creating in that. You can't do both.
Well, and not to the level that you would hope to. Yeah. I mean, not as well as you could.
Yeah.
And ironically, that's not the first time I've come across that, where big name organization in the CrossFit space has mottos or core values. Insert mottos or core values here. And while these mottos or core values might come from an aspirational place, when not tempered in reality, or when not taking into account the fact that they're being directed toward human beings and the fallible nature of the human being, there can be, and in my experience have been, unintended consequences. I'll give an example. There was an organization that, one of their core values was, things like, never complain or something like that, right? Like that's, and it's meant to be like, don't complain about something, do something about it, right? Like I'm 100% sure that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Well, the culture that statement bore internally for that organization was don't talk about your problems.
Mm.
And so there were like employees felt like there was no space for them to be open and vulnerable.
Mm.
And that birthed a heap of issues for that organization.
Mm.
And
Well, I mean, I remember, I had the capacity, that was just, I'd got used to doing that amount of work. And the amount of, coaches who, and I could not understand it with empathy at the time, is like, oh, I can't do more than 2 classes. And I'm like, what are you, come on, like, harden up. But when you can give people the space to, express freely, like you said, those concerns and those impacts, then you can look at it and go, oh, well, actually, yeah, I've like me too kind of thing, rather than going, come on, harden up, I do this, why can't you do this? And then you start burning through coaches like, $2 watches. You just banging through, just because they get tired and they get sick of it. They get sick of the shit.
Yeah.
It's like, they get sick of the cycle, but you keep doing it because your name's on the door, but they just make the choice not to, which is a disservice to, you and I were just having another conversation about, we have the solution to the world's most vexing problem. We need more coaches to help solve that, not less, that we, burn them out and cook them.
Yeah.
And because a new coach is very like, yeah, no, put me in, coach. Yeah, I want to word vomit my stuff on everybody because I love this and I can do it. It doesn't feel like a job when I'm getting up at this time. It's great.
Out of the way. Level 1 coach coming through.
Yeah. It's like, here I am. I can do this for you. No problem.
Yes.
And then 6 months in, it's like,
right. You can't feel your face anymore.
Yeah. It's like, oh, and word vomit's not as much fun.
Yeah. Well, and to the discussion that we were having earlier, like the math for this is absurd. I think it was something, I should just do the calculation again because it's that much more powerful. Like all of this is coming back to burnout is a real thing. And even the most die-hard, selfless person will experience burnout on a long enough time scale. And if we, as affiliate owners and as coaches, as practitioners of CrossFit, believe the assertion that CrossFit is the solution to the world's most vexing problem, i.e. chronic disease, we need more of these coaches, not less, to your point. We need these coaches to stick around long enough to affect positive change in even one person's life, let alone the 7 million people who suffer from, say, just cardiovascular, die from cardiovascular disease in America every year. And in sticking around long enough, they need to do so at a level of income that allows it to be a serious long-term proposition. We can't have coaching be something that is only for young 20-somethings before they get serious and get married and start thinking about a family. Like
you only have so much capacity.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if you're, when you're young. I remember when I was young, it was like endless energy. It's one thing when you're young and you have fewer obligations for your time and your money, and you're like, yeah, I can throw a shit ton of energy at this. It's another thing entirely if you got a wife or a husband, or if you're, thinking about having kids, or you're looking at, I lived in the Boston area, and the discussion amongst a bunch of coaches is, I want to stop living with 3 other roommates, and I want to have my own apartment, let alone house. And like, depending on where you are, that's no joke business. And the general perception is, as a coach, you can't make enough to do that, something like that. And we are working to change that. Solving the problems of the people who solve the world's most vexing problem. That's kind of what we're doing here at the MDCP. And it's fine and dandy for us to talk about finance and creating value for your members and your community, and
Mm,
how to leverage and things like that.
mm,
But if you're not taking time off, if you're not prioritizing your own health, if you're not prioritizing relationships in your life,
mm.
and you burn yourself out, it's the same as an affiliate owner going out of business.
Yep.
No, you don't get to save anybody that way.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins.
And it's a really sad, and I've probably been through several burnout cycles, if I'm honest, in the 7.5 years I was in the affiliate. But when you get to the point that and I never got to this point, but I know other people did, where they were like, I hate coming to the gym. I hate being around this place.
Yeah.
And you lose the love of the thing that once you were so passionate about.
Yeah.
That's the saddest thing of all about this, because you can recoup your energy, you can recoup your, rebuild your system again, and if we talk biologically, your adrenals and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to get that back and not feel that jaded, like even if you've had a big week, suddenly you feel that thing back again.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know personally of coaches and owners who literally, as they're driving to the gym to open up for classes, they're in tears.
Yeah.
Because of all the external pressures of money and making it work and how I'm going to pay the bills, as well as I'm just so fucking tired.
Yeah.
And I've got to go in there and put on my happy face and put on a show and listen to people bitch about the music or the toilet paper or the way something was written on the whiteboard and not rip their head off and bowl it down the driveway. That's a thing. And that's a really, I find that heartbreaking when people get to that point, that the thing that they love most in the world that made them go all in now eats them alive.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking earlier. It's like teachers, and there was a video a couple years back that went viral. It was this teacher who was in the hallway outside of his classroom, and he's kids. He's teaching. It doesn't matter. They're all under 18 kids. And he's walking down the hall, and you could tell he's fucking exhausted. He stops beside the class, and he rubs his eyes, and then he stands up straight, and he deliberately puts a smile on his face, like all before he walks through the door. And you're like, he's trying, man. Like he's trying to keep it together for these kids.
Yeah.
And in the same way, like I know coaches who they go through the same thing. It's like, okay, I'm not going to yell at these people. I'm not going to yell at these people. I'm going to act with love. I'm going to act with love, like
when the same people who you have those people in your class that are going to grind your gears. It's like, just let it go today. And I've been in a situation where I'm like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say, oh, damn it. You said it. Like that's, and you're like, just let it go. Don't say it. Don't say it. Oh, you said it. Shit.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you've gone past the give a shit point, and you're just like, do you not see how much I'm suffering for you people?
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't care. Your suffering is not our problem. We pay to be here. So we pay for you to be perky, happy, and, serve me.
Yeah.
Which is, the nature of the beast. So how do we, which you're right, circling back to what we said is like, we're trying to solve the most vexing problem as it applies to coaches, which is lack of resources.
Yeah.
And it's not a lack of resources. The resources are there to be had and generated, but the lack of the awareness and the skill and the ability and confidence to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think is one of the powerful things we provide through the either the six-figure coach seminar or our MDCP online course is that, confidence to go put yourself forward and have the steps to know how to develop something and then to put it out into the world and bring it to life.
Well, and if I could, and I've experienced this on a bunch of on a bunch of different levels
Mm,
for my coaches out there, like, you know,
mm,
the concept of creating additional value and then leveraging a platform and then, doing so to increase revenue for yourself as a professional is not a new concept. We did not invent this, right?
mm.
But we're the only people talking about it in the CrossFit space. And
Mm.
I think it's had a whole thought and now it's out of my head. Son of a gun. But
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, while you try and regather your thought, I'm just, there's a lot of people talking about solving the problems in this space about more. So
Yeah.
you need more leads. That'll solve your problem. Well, no, that's just more people I need to manage in my already exhausted
Yeah.
schedule. Or
Yeah.
you need, so if I have more leads coming, fifth, and they tap into, the affiliate owner and the coach that's, already putting out a lot of fires. It's like, we can get, we can fill your gym. We can give you 50 new leads a week. And like, yeah, that sounds amazing when you do the maths. Go, oh, well, 50 people at this. No, that's 50 leads. You then have to nurture and work and, add that to your schedule. They don't tell you
Nurture,
that bit.
appointment, close. Yep.
Yeah, and go through all that. And then service.
Yeah.
It's like, can you really cope with another even 5 to 10 people?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
And do it well and to the best of your ability?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the culture of the industry is more. Like more leads, more clients, more offerings, like, boot camp, boxing, CrossFit, like fill your gym with, yoga fit, everything that you can fill every hour of your day.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, but who's running that
Yeah.
thing? And it's more, rather than let's look at how we can use the tools to make you more valuable.
Yeah. Well, and as it pertains specifically to the coach, a lot of the things that we're talking about right now, like lead nurturing and stuff like that that kind of exists at the entrepreneur and business owner level. For the coach, it cannot be said like sometimes you're just going to have to start saying no, right? Oh, now I know where my brain is coming from. Okay, I got my whole thing back. In addition to starting to say no, you have to stop asking for permission or waiting for permission for some other things. Like, you have this idea for a program that you want to run, and maybe it's a thing on, here's a great example, is like how to improve your total bar efficiency, right? Well, trying to schedule a meeting with your owner to talk about the thing that he or she is probably too busy to try to support you in, just make it. Just make it. Like webcam, phone, put it on Gumroad, like record it with Loom. Like there's any number of things that you can do and then go put it out there. You have probably forgotten more things about CrossFit and fitness and nutrition than most people will ever know. And so start with those things. Like take one class and say no to that class. And you're like, but wait, I need that money. You don't if you can create more than the value of that class in that hour.
And one of the first things I was told, and it always stuck with me, so it was one of the things that I think I did well as an affiliate owner, was the first thing I did was outsource the cleaning.
Yeah.
Hated it, was awful at it. It would take me so long to do.
Yeah.
But I try and wrangle in family members and people like, are you working today? Like, do you want to come down and help with you can do the mopping. But it was phrased to me as like, okay, so how much do you charge for an hour for even PT? Oh, it's like, $80 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's $160 it's now costing you to clean the gym versus a membership trade or whatever. And I was like, I don't want to drop any memberships, I need the money. And it's like, also, what can I be doing in that hour?
Yeah.
How much revenue can I make? And through, my work with Fit Affiliate as a client, it was like, if you have a coach on the floor to cover that class and you're spending that hour following up leads and you could potentially make $3K of revenue, is that not better than, you taking a class to save $25 on payroll?
Yes. Absolutely.
It's understanding your value in the hour.
Yes. Here's another way to look at it. So like meal prepping. Meal prepping is super popular, right? Let's say it takes you 5 hours on a Sunday to meal prep, right?
Yeah.
When instead you could go to Chipotle.
Yeah.
Every day. And, what are you going to spend on Chipotle for lunch? What, $25? Let's say you DoorDash it. Let's do it real expensive style. So it's $125, right?
Yep.
I'm not telling anybody to do this, but this is a consideration. If you can make more than $125 in that 5 hours that you would spend meal prepping, then it is a better use of your time financially to go get Chipotle and like just carefully like change what you order to like fit your macros. Now, maybe CrossFit, who is now sponsored by Chipotle, would be like, yeah, go do that. But like, we take things for granted that things are the way they are, and they're that way for a reason. And almost never is that actually rooted in reality. Don't be afraid of thinking outside the box and looking for other ways to execute on your time and your energy, right? But so much of this seems impossible if you've got 7 unbroken hours of coaching back to back with maybe a 30-minute window in there to hit the bathroom and, shove food in your face. Like, I don't think, and like we tell ourselves, going back to things that we tell ourselves, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. And the answer that I've found is no, you don't. That is a story we tell ourselves, and we tell ourselves that's the only way to do it. You have more power to organize your day than you think. And if you don't believe that, that's fine. We will believe it. I will believe it for you until you believe it. Yep. And that's maybe the first step to giving yourself permission to start saying no to some things so that you can take, instead of 7 hours that you're working on broken, you take one of those hours back for you and you make it yours.
Yep.
And maybe you take a nap. Maybe you do some meditation, or maybe you start working on something that you are going to be able to leverage.
And it's, it's a race to the bottom when you're just trading time for dollars.
Yes.
And how can I maximize that opportunity? So I know in Fit Affiliate, and for those that follow the Fit Affiliate podcast, we've talked about it numerous times about, do you really want 200 members?
Yeah.
Or maybe what would your life be like if you had 100 members that were more valuable and that you could serve the shit out of and solve their problems, and they were the right people, so you had none of the people that gave you headaches or, were the pain in your butt members who, wanted every discount and everything cut down. So if you had 100 high quality people who are high value clients, does that not make your life infinitely better?
Yeah.
Rather than let's just add more to the problem. I was talking to someone the other day. It's like, when a relationship is, in trouble, what do people do? It's like, well, let's have a baby. That'll fix it. Let's get a dog. Let's get married. I know what I need. I just need more people. That'll fix it, because then I'll get the money. Yeah. You just get more headaches because you're just taking anyone and everyone. Like, that's the kicker, is like, get more value from what you make your current clients more valuable.
Yeah. And
by providing better value through what you do, and it's everybody wins, compressed time.
Yeah.
We try and do that for our clients here at Fit Affiliate, like to get them to their end state or the end of their project. Like, we compress time. Yeah. So for you, how do I compress time for myself personally as a coach? to get best, what are the biggest levers I can pull in the shortest amount of time that are going to get me the furthest forward without killing myself.
Yeah. I mean, and that's maybe the biggest, one of the biggest lessons I learned was how to appropriately value my time and the benefit of providing a service that is not a volume service, right? Like I can charge $60 an hour for a personal training session and try to do my best, or I can get better and charge more. And then I'm charging $100 an hour, and then I'm charging $150, and then $250, and then $400 an hour for personal training. And you could absolutely continue to charge $60 an hour, and it will take you 7 times that amount of time to reach $400, $400 change. Or you can get really good at executing and bring value to those clients, like,
well,
if you go ahead.
I was going to say, you're an excellent example of putting our process into work. So you've worked through
I try to.
Yeah. And like, as your coach, I'm completely unbiased and I think you have, but you were working in a gym.
Yeah.
So you were doing PTs and stuff with the gym. You've been through that cycle. So you knew what it was worth.
Yeah.
Outside of that, now you've created a whole separate product, separate platform. And in just 2 clients that you've added, you have blown apart any earnings that you had for that. And you'll be able to deliver it, for example, virtually. Yeah. So you're not spending to earn the amount of money you've earned through, you've charged for this program, which is huge value. It's an amazing program. Cheap plug for Sam. It is an amazing program. How many PT clients would you need to see face to face to make that?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hold
right.
40.
Right. In a week.
Yeah.
Or over. Yeah. Just to make that. Whereas now you've got 12 weeks with these clients who are investing in themselves and they recognize your value to change their life.
Well, and more importantly, like, and this cannot be said enough. It's not like had I had 40 clients at the old rate, I would not be having the effect that I'm having with these clients at the depth that I want to. And like, I was talking about this with some friends recently. When you coach CrossFit, you've got a very broad pool, but you can it's very shallow. I get 1/24 of your day with you. And so I can run the best class in the world. But when it really comes to like moving the needle on your health and fitness, everything else you do that I can't control and don't have input on can totally fuck everything I'm trying to do with you.
I've had, members leave a morning class and I know full well they're doing a Macca's drive-through on their way to work, getting a bacon, egg muffin, hash brown, and, a grande size latte. And you're like, well, that hour was a waste of your time.
But it is or it isn't. Like it is if your goal is to like eat healthier and, clean up your diet in order to like do, body recomposition, yeah, exactly. Like, and don't get me wrong, like every once in a while, McDonald's is the thing. So you go get it. Like, but if you're trying to get to like, if you want to look like Ryan Reynolds when he was in Deadpool, then you can't go to McDonald's every day. Like there's those two things don't match up. So
that doesn't work.
Doing the work, the program that I've designed actually allows me to lead my clients to success. It's no longer hey, come party with us for an hour a day. And it's a lot of fun, but like, who knows how successful you'll be? Maybe not. I can say confidently to these clients, if you work with me and if you do the things I tell you to do, I will be able to help you. because I don't work with people who I can't help. I'm not going to be not successful.
Yeah.
So it's by working with a handful of people and going really deep. And I've worked really hard to design a program that actually helps people on a bunch of different fronts. I'm able to do that and provide value to these clients. And I tell them straight out, I say, if you are not satisfied with the level of service you're getting, I will refund every dime. And I mean that.
Yeah. Because we're so confident in, and we will say that in affiliate. If we can't help you, then we won't take your money. Like, this is not a, look, I'm just, that's Bob over in the corner squatting. He's always going to squat like shit, and he does half the reps. And we know he's having, Taco Bell for lunch every day, but he's coming, he's paying his membership. Sweet. That's not what it's about, and that's not what the value is.
Yeah.
And I think, as we get to the point of, putting a pin in this one for this week is really about burnout sucks.
Yeah.
It breaks our heart when affiliate owners, when affiliate owners reach out for a consult, they're normally at the end of the rope. Yeah. So we've got a lot of pulling to do to help get them, further back up the rope so that they can hang on and then start to go and do the work then to start to discover the freedoms. With coaches, it's the same thing. Like, if you're listening to this and you feel like, oh, shit, they're talking about me, or, yeah, I feel like that, or I've done that, then reach out for a chat. There's a link in the show notes. Just chat. We're not here to sell you anything or say, yeah, you have to do our program. That's not what we're about. We actually just want to help. We want to talk to you. Yeah. And if we can help you on that call, we definitely will.
Yeah.
So, and we're not charging you $250 to talk to us, and we're not going to stream you all over the interwebs. Like, book a call, come and chat to us. That's primarily what we're here for. But, don't suffer with burnout. Yeah. But the second piece of the puzzle that I hope that people have got out of today is, understand your value and your worth and what you need to do to fill that, to be able to fulfill that promise of value and worth. So how you need to take care of yourself and where your energy levels and focus need to be. Yeah. But understanding that you can create revenue out of thin air.
Yeah.
You have unlimited potential. Like, you can think of it as that, yeah, I'm working for this gym, I get $25 an hour. Or I am in a field of one, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner of my own, of, as I used to say to you when you started working with me, Sam, it's like brand Sam. And I have infinite capacity to create revenue outside of what someone determines my value to be.
Yes.
And you can do both concurrently. Like, you don't have to go, well, I can't work for you for $25 because I'm now this super coach. You can, but that's going to also, take the pressure off and give you the ability to, then when you go and coach a class, it's not like, man, I only get $25 for this shit. You can coach it freely because your needs are being met, elsewhere, and you're taking control of it.
Yeah.
But understanding your worth and value, and that you don't deserve to be working at 4 affiliates for $25 an hour, driving all around the city, covering classes here, there, and everywhere, and juggling 3 calendars. Yeah. Like, you don't need to. And we need you to be your best self to do the work to solve the most vexing problem in the world.
Yeah.
The people need you.
Yeah. Final pin is like exactly that. We need you to do your job, which means we need you to not be burned out. We need you to lead from the front, both from, hey, go do the workout, but also like take a big picture look at your health and wellness. And the first step is saying no to one thing so you can say yes to something else. And I know how hard that is. I know. I've lived it. And as somebody who is on the other side, I promise you it's not as terrifying as it seems. And probably the thing you were most afraid of doing is the thing you need to do. Right.
Mm.
And then also, like, we've got our handles, our Instagram handles, like right under our names here. Like,
Yeah.
if you have questions about anything I've talked about, like, reach out to me directly. And I'm happy to, like, all of the things that I was given for free are not mine. I will absolutely give away everything for free that I was given. Like, please reach out. I'd love to help. Right. Because I need you. I need you to do your job.
Yeah. And the world, it's not an understatement. The world needs you. Like, we need more coaches. We don't need less coaches, and we certainly don't need more shitty coaches who are jaded and burnt out, who were once bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Like, we can help you remember your why you got into this, like why it was so powerful for you to do, and reignite that fire, and then teach you and guide you how to maximize that.
Yes.
Rather than just trading time for dollars, because it makes us sad.
Yeah.
Makes it. Now, people on the audio won't see my sad face, but it is, it makes us sad because it's not what we're here for. No. We love the affiliate model. We love coaches. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. And we, want to be a voice of difference in the ecosystem, which I think we are. But it's not about more. It's like, let's pull the levers for what you already have and see your value and understand your why.
Yeah. More, not better. Or rather, better, not more.
I was like, oh, hang on a minute. We just completely flipped the script there.
Undo. Edit that.
Yeah. I'll just take that bit out. That'll be a clip for the reels. Yeah, better, not more. And put you first.
Yes.
That's really fucking hard. There's a mic drop moment. That's put you first. And I am guilty of not doing that. I know my other half is listening to this, and when I come out off this call, I'm going to go down that hallway and she's going to go, put yourself first. Is that what you're doing every day? I know that's what I'm going to hear, but, we've all striving. We're not perfect. We don't have the magic pill.
Yeah.
But we understand the journey.
Yes.
And so no judgment. Judgment-free zone. All right, Sam. I've loved chatting to you. Next week we'll have Ash back. We'll have the Three Musketeers back on deck. Looking forward to more chatting. But guys, reach out. If you know a coach that is probably struggling, share this with them. The audio version is on Apple or Spotify or the YouTube, so you get to see our lovely faces and our whatnot. But share it, subscribe, shoot a comment, send us something. We're not going to air your dirty laundry in public. Just let us know. Reach out if this resonates. And if you, see somebody who needs a hand, share it.
Absolutely.
Be a good friend. All right, Sam. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too, Lisa.